Hello. I'm just checking my microphone. Hello. 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 Can I hear some people say yes in the chat or in the Q&A? Ah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. That is nice. I wanted to be sure. So colleagues, you're welcome. We have 7 minutes to start. And because this is strictly 1 hour, we shall respect the time. So the moment it clicks 5 Ugandan time, we shall start. So we just have less than 7 minutes. And maybe to just be sure, did we all get the link for downloading the data? I hope yes. The data that we are going to use in this session. So make sure you have a copy of that data on your laptops. This should be hands-on. So I expect you to have data. If you don't have the data, you can post here and I can post it here. I can post the link. So people asking for the link to the data is there. I'll put it in the chat. And we have 5 minutes to start. So if you don't have, please download. The link is up there in the chat. The link for the data, I repeat, someone is still asking where the link for the data. I post it again, it's there. We have 4 minutes to start. Okay, sorry, I was posting to a few people. So now I think you can all get it. I posted it again. Okay, people are still saying they can't see it. I'll post it again. It's there. We have 2 minutes. And I'll start in 2 minutes. Okay. I think it's time. It's exactly 5. And colleagues, you're welcome once again to our first webinar, which will be talking about data visualizations using some features in Microsoft Excel. So I'll straight away go to the presentation, which should take me a few minutes. Maybe before I do so, my name is Ronald Waiswa. You definitely read about my profile in the advert that was running. I am in charge of research and trainings at Lida Africa. Lida Africa is an M&E firm that provides global trainings in M&E, data management, analysis, visualization, and reporting. That's what we do at Lida Africa. So the purpose of this session quickly is to equip the webinar participants with some skills of designing simplified visuals for M&E data using advanced Excel. There are quite a number. I think we have started. Can I hear some people say yes? Someone is asking if we have started. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think we have started. Okay. And thank you for that. That also reminds me to record this presentation. So thank you so much. The session has now started. It is on data visualization using advanced Excel, and we shall strictly restrict ourselves to conditional formatting and a few graphs that we can cover in 1 hour. In terms of objectives, I said it is to equip webinar participants with the skills of designing simplified visuals for M&E data using advanced Excel features, and specifically, we shall look at conditional formatting and a few other graphics that are unique, not the usual ones like pie charts that are used too. Just a little bit about Lida Africa. Lida Africa, like I said, is a global M&E firm operating in Uganda and also registered in South Africa, and collaborating with another institution in South Africa, Practices Technical Services. We offer services in trainings, at least in those 3 countries, but with participants coming from all over the globe. Like you saw, I'm sure we have participants coming from most of the countries in the country. So what we do, we develop M&E systems for organizations. We run M&E trainings, including those that are connected to data management and analysis. We support organizations in evaluations, adopting M&E technology, and we have a team of graduate M&E fellows, and that will be joining us. Now, these are basics on how do you draw a visual. And because we have an hour, of course, I'll just focus on a few items. But what I should say is that a visual is basically a form of data analysis or presenting your data results to your clients. And data analysis is mainly guided by 2 types of variables. I'll stop at 2. 1, variables are strictly or broadly categorized into 2. We have those that are categorical and those that are quantitative. So there are visuals that are applicable to quantitative variables, and there are visuals that are applicable to categorical variables. For people that have been drawing pie charts, for instance, you cannot draw a pie chart for a quantitative variable like age. That is not applicable. And if the variable is categorical like gender, where you have male and female, then if you summarize that data, that's when you can do such a pie chart. So visuals are also applicable depending on the nature of variables that you're dealing with. This is the same thing with any other data analysis that you want to do. Now, just a little bit about what should be at the back of your mind as far as data analysis is concerned. 1, we build our M&E on 3 main pillars. 1 is the continuous correction of data, which is our work. 2 is how to analyze that data. And now the data visualization part is just a way of it, or a way of analyzing data. And then using. Now, using, we know very well that people have challenges with reading texts, or some people have challenges with looking at statistics. So the visuals are very useful tools in presenting data to clients or your stakeholders, especially senior management that did not do quantitative courses. So when they look at a visual or a graph, it is more interesting for them to read or even to give it attention than when at times you present your results to a statistician. So 3 main principles or key principles in terms of in preparing a visual. There are various visuals, but what should be at the back of your mind is 1, you need to plan for the visual before you draw it. And now in the story, in the before scenario, you need to know your audience. In the audience, for instance, you need to know the people I'm going to present to statisticians. Do they like numbers? You need to know, do they like graphics? I have, for instance, a friend of mine who is a team leader at this organization. And for her, she wants pictures. So if you write a report without a picture, that's not a good report according to her. So you need to know your audience. What do they love to see? Then 2, what data type are you looking at? What type of variables am I going to handle? So every time you look, you're seated before an Excel file. You need to understand what data type is this. If I'm looking at a variable gender, which type of variable is this? Is it qualitative or it is categorical? Then 2, which message do I need to share? That should also be at the back of the ground. Do I need to show the composition of this? Do I need to show a trend? Do I need to show the distribution, etc.? So you need to know what message do I need to share. And then 2, the time factor. How much time do you have to communicate your findings to them. But also, do I need to show this graph over a period of time? You need to show that. Now, when you have this, it helps you to prepare and to identify the type of visual that you're likely to deal with. Then the other factor before is which software is the best for coming up with this visual. And now, what we do here on the software, visualization of data is multi-software. There are some visuals where Starter will be the best. There are some visuals where Excel is the best. There are some visuals where Tableau is the best. So there are so many softwares, and even some visuals which are based on your own imaginations. The whole thing is making a clear, understandable, and an interesting visual for your audience. So Excel is one of the most powerful and easy to use softwares in terms of visualization. Some people may not be so good at Stata. Some people may not be so good at Tableau. Some don't even know how to use SPSS. But at least in most of the organizations, the first softwares we get used to are Microsoft packages, where Excel is part of that suite. So Excel has very excellent visuals like we are going to see today. We are not going to complete all of them, but I will introduce you to some of them. And maybe in future, you can join some of our trainings where we have specific topics on data visualizations and maybe creating dashboards. Then once you move from the before, I've already thought about the message I want, I know the software I'm going to use. Then during the process of generating the visual. Now, during, you need to know how should I arrange my data? Because, for instance, if you want, for instance, to do a pie chart, you will not draw it from the raw data. You need to summarize that data in an appropriate format. So you need to know, how do I present my data? How do I arrange my data for me to be able to generate this visual? Then two, after I've generated that visual, how do I format it so that it is clear in terms of colors? And colors, what we mean is that you see every institution has different colors. Like for Lida Africa, we believe in green. Now, from one of our partners in South Africa, which is Paradis TS, they believe in blue. Now, if I'm writing a report, for instance, for my organization that believes in green, I'll not put there yellow. So I need to customize my colors that I'm reporting in my report to the institutional colors. In terms of access, are your access clear? If I look at the graph, usually the way you make this graph, you need to be sure that if someone looks at the graph, it is enough to communicate a message without necessarily explaining or reading the text. The visual should be complete in terms of clarity. And then after you have generated this very excellent visual in Excel, everything is good. Then you need to think about after I've generated it. And therefore, in the after I've generated it, you need to think about, how do I transfer this visual to my Microsoft PowerPoint? How do I transfer this visual to my Word report? That is the last phase. And what more do I need to format on this visual? And then how do I report on this visual? So those are the three considerations every time you sit before a data set and you want to summarize it in terms of visualizations. In terms of the message, there are different messages. We have what we call the composition visuals, which is a share of a whole. So for instance, if we say which percentage of the participants in this webinar are male and which percentage are female, which percentage are coming from Kenya, which percentage are coming from Peru, South Sudan, etc., etc. And then relationship, that is usually how the two variables move. That can be a scatter plot. So you want to look at, if this variable increases, what happens to this variable? That can be a relationship, comparison over time. Distribution of a single variable, is it normally distributed? We have some people concentrated only at lower end, some are concentrated at the upper end, or it is normally distributed where we have people at the end, people at the bottom, and are all through the middle, etc. So that is the message that you need to know. Now, the visuals are so many. There are so many. For instance, when you talk of distribution visuals, you can draw a histogram. There is a Chrome histogram, line histogram, the scatter charts, etc., etc. Relationships, you have these ones. Composition visuals are here, and comparison visuals are here. So many, and most of these you can actually find them in Excel. Now, when you come up with a visual, there are some basic components. some of these I've already talked about them. That one of them is, what should the visual have as a visual? One, these are the elements. Let the visual have a title, so that when I look at the title, gender distribution of the participants in a webinar, I know what the visual is all about. Two, in some cases, let the y-axis be very clear, especially if you're doing a visual that requires you to put a y-axis and that requires you to put an x-axis. So for instance, when you look at this graph, the y-axis is not there and you're actually not sure what y means. Now this will, even if it is well decorated the way it is not a clear visual. The x-axis, it is here, it is excellent, but we don't know what exactly is excellent. It's good, it's neither good or bad. We don't know what exactly these numbers mean. So you must label your axis such that it is clear 100%. Then at times you're going to have visuals like this one, for instance, that where the data labels must be indicated so that if I look at, I don't need to struggle. For instance, look at this one where 25 is. If I had not put the 25, people would be gambling between maybe it is 25, maybe it is 30. So you don't need your recipients to get to think of a number. So where you think the number or the visual is not clear, make it as clear as possible. So this is the chart area, this is the plot area. Some of this is just some decoration and how you can tailor it to the institutional colors, etc, etc. But the most key ones is let the title be there. In case you have accesses, let the y and x axis or even the z axis be clear. And in case the data labels are not very easy to read, indicate them. Now, there are basic processes that you go through, which are 6, depending on the nature of visual that you want to generate. 1, arrange the data in an appropriate format. We usually draw, most of the visuals are not drawn from the original data set. So arrange the data in an appropriate format. Then the second will be to select the data. You click on insert, most of the visuals in Excel are there. Click on the chart of your choice, do the designing, format the area, etc, etc. We are going to go through this for some of these visuals. So what we are going to do is now to take a tour into Excel, and we are going to use the data which you have all downloaded. And but before we go there are some key takeaways from this presentation. One is that the customer is king. So whatever you do, make sure you're making your customer as the first thing that you're focusing on. The customer is king. If it is more complex, it is more useless. If you use too much colors, then you are likely to confuse. It's not a Christmas tree. Participatory is best. Garbage in, garbage out. If you just do anything before you understand what you're doing, if you put in garbage, all these softwares are garbage in, garbage out. And then lastly, visualization is a mild software. If I'm writing a report, I can use Excel, I can go to Stata, I can go to Tableau to just make sure that my presentation or my visuals are clear. So now, thank you so much. Let's take a tour of Excel. So I'll stop this and open an Excel file that we are supposed to use for this. So this is the Excel file. And I hope you can see it. Some people had problems with the presentation, but I hope you were able to listen. Those were basically words. Now let's get to Excel. Let's get to Excel. And I hope the Excel one is very clear for everyone. Okay. Now, so we have various visuals here, and we shall walk through them. Now, this particular one is M&E data visualization using conditional formatting. Of course, I'll focus on some of them, some of other graphics, especially if time allows. For people like in Uganda, we have curfew at 7 p.m., so we need to make sure that people are safe. Okay, I see people have not muted. Okay. Okay, so in terms of visual needs in Excel, we have, for instance, pie charts. These are common graphs, which you have seen. We have donut charts. We have the bar graphs and the column graphs. These are visuals which are very common. These you have seen. What usually changes is how to make it beautiful. And the stacked column and bar graphs. These are also in Excel. We have the line graphs. These are very common graphs. These ones, at least most of you have used them before. But then there are these visuals in Excel which are rare. People have not explored using them. The data bars, they are there in Excel. How to use the Sparklines. So I'll focus most of my presentation to these rare graphics, some of them that we can actually find in conditional formatting. There's data bars, the Sparklines, combo charts are a bit common, scatter plots are a bit common, histograms, there, the tree maps. I don't know whether most of you have heard of this, but there are tree maps in Excel. We have the people graphs. We shall see how a people graph looks like in this session. I hope in the few minutes that we have, we shall be able to do that. And then the icon sets and color scales. So these are some of the different visuals that you can actually do in Excel, and much more, which are based on your presentation skills. So let's look at the first one, which are icon sets. Icon sets and color scales. Let's go to sheet number 2. Icon sets and color scales. Now, we have this data here. And how do icon sets look like? For ease of demonstration, I'll first, for instance, pick this. Let me just pick this data set, and I paste it down here. And we want to present this data in form of icon sets. So these icon sets, what you do, they're under conditional formatting. So what I'll do, you select your data, just like I've selected my data here. And then you, under home, there is conditional formatting. Now, in conditional formatting, there are some excellent tree visuals that people rarely make use of. So we have the icon sets, which I'm going to look at. We have the color scales, which I'll look at. And we have the data bars. Now, in the icon sets, there are different items here. You see this? These are icon sets, and it will make your presentation look nice. So for instance, let's assume we have profits that we made in August, and maybe we had a target, the target every month is maybe 20,000. And we want to say that if we are below that value, then we put a clause, meaning that we did not actually meet that target. So what I'll do, I can use any of these symbols here, whichever you think makes sense to you. So for instance, I can come and use this, or I can come and use these common ones that are everywhere in the country, like traffic lights. So these are some of the icon sets. So for instance, if I pick this, they give us this kind of visual, which is not now very clear to most of us. Now we need to see that maybe in this visual, we look at a scenario where if something is below 10,000, we put that as red, meaning we have not hit the monthly target. If something is yellow, maybe we are about to meet, or we just met the monthly target. And if the thing is above a certain value, we say, give us a green light, meaning that we have surpassed the target. And I can use that as my simple visual. So when you just simply select the data, just like I selected here, these are very easy visuals here. In conditional formatting, you come to icon sets, and then you use any of these ones that you want. If you want, you can use these ones. You get the point? If you want, you can use these. So for instance, I've used this, and now I want to put it to a level that works for me. So I will still select the area, that same data. I come to conditional formatting, and then I come to manage rules. I hope you can see that. Manage rules. Now, when I come to manage rules, they give me this window. They give me this window, and then
Ronald, is it possible to zoom in?
It's possible. Oh, that is too big. Is that better?
Yes, it's better.
Yeah, okay. So now, so I said, I now want to customize this. The first thing we did was to just put a visual. Conditional formatting, icon sets, then I pick any of my choice here. But now I want to say that if I reach this point, that is a red line. If I reach this point, I'm now at yellow. If I reach this point, I'm in green. So I'll select the entire area, go to conditional formatting, and then I come to manage rules. Now, when I come to manage rules, I come to edit rules. Now, when I come to edit rules, there are conditions here at the bottom. If you can see this window here. Now, I can say when the value is, the condition is here, greater or equal to, so it depends on the profits, for instance, that I have. So if, for instance, I say, if the value is greater than, let's assume 10,000, 10,000, 1, 2, 3, 10,000, and the type is actually, I'm looking at a number. So let this be given a green color. And I can even switch and I say, use this color here. Now I say, when the value is less than 0, no, this is a number, this is 10,000, 1, 2, 3, 10,000. So when I click here, so this one will now pick the value that when the value is now less than 0, but greater or equal to, let's say, for instance, 5,000. 5,000. Let this be yellow. And I can pick a color of my choice. Maybe I put a yellow color. Maybe if this one is better, I can use this one. Or if this one is better, or I can use even this icon here. But if that one doesn't look nice, I can pick a color like this one. Now we say, if the value is now less than, when it is less than 500, we put a red. Or I can say, we did not actually achieve the target. Something like that. It's a red color. So when I say okay, here I also need to change to number. The type here is number. So this was 5,000. 1, 2, 3. Then here, so the type here, you need to be sensitive. The type, we are basing on numbers. These are not percentages. So when I click OK, I come here, I click OK, you see how it works. So meaning that if I have an X, then it means we performed poorly in terms of profits in those months. If I have X here in March, we performed poorly. Where I see green, it means we hit the target, which is our profit. And I hope that visual is very excellent. Now, how I may not be, I may want to show this in a different column, so that I have the profits here and I have the indicator. So I can even call this as indicator, as my indicator. And so if this is an indicator, I say equals to this value. I want to draw a visual, which is the same icon sets. And here I want to have just the icon sets without the data, because here now what we did was to put the icon sets and the data in the same visual. So what I'll do here is I'll select the data again, same process, conditional formatting. I come to icon sets. I select maybe this icon set, depending on what I want. Let me pick this one, for instance. I'll pick this icon set. And then I can still do the same conditional formatting. When it is still selected, I come to manage rules. And I specify through edit rule. I come here and I say, if the value we want based on past number, this is what we did before. And we say 10,000, 1, 2, 3. Then if the number, still this is a number, not a percentage, is now less than 10,000, but greater than 5,000, 1, 2, 3. And then this one is any value less than 5,000. So this is what we are saying, that this one we shall say it is a tick. This one we shall say it is maybe a yellow. You can switch this to any format of your choice. And then this is a failure. Now, at this point here, if you can see on top here, there is show icon only. So what that means is that here they will remove the numbers. So I can say show icon only, and then I click OK, and then I click OK. So here they will remove the numbers. And now I can do some editing where I can put the numbers in the middle. So that is basically in formatting. So I can come here, then I say in this column here, I don't want the visual to be reflected there, so I can remove them. So in removing this, I still go back to conditional formatting and I clear the rules in the selected cells. Now, I can present this as my data to senior management or in my report, the way it is here, and I'm done with this visual. So whoever looks at a tick, so we can tell that we only performed excellently in 3 months, and then we failed in 3 months. All the other 6 months, we performed below target, and that is an excellent visual using icon sets. I hope that is clear. I'm too fast? Okay, sorry. Okay, so basically those are icon sets. So I'll come here. That here we have the profits, which I've already demonstrated. Icon sets, you can even represent these ones. You see this one? If you want to represent this column using icon sets, people that did not see well, select the data. That was the process. As I was rushing because I had very many graphics to finish, but I can reduce the speed. I have, for instance, this data. I come to conditional formatting, icon sets. Maybe I can use this one. You get a point? I can use this one. You also see how it looks very beautiful. That where it is a negative, it brings us a drop. Where there is a positive, it brings us an increase. We can say if it is at some point, it gives us this arrow. That is one, so an icon set. And like I said, you still select it, go to conditional formatting, come to manage rules, and then you specify through edit rule. Now, when you come to edit rule, you can say when the value is greater than, so you switch still this to a number, and you say when the value is, for instance, greater than 6,000 or 5,000 here, okay, then even here is a number, and then we say when it is less than this, but maybe greater than 1,000, something like this, and if it is less than the 1,000. So we can even switch this, that this one can be maybe this visual here, or whatever you want to show. I can say, let's put this one here. Here we performed not so good, but here the things increased. This one, the thing did not really increase. There was no change if it is in this range. And if the thing is less than 1,000, maybe actually we just had a dip in our performance. So what I'll do, I can say if I want to show the data and the icon set, I'll leave it there. If I only want to see the icon sets, I'll also show icon set only. And when I say okay, and I click okay, I'll have that. So what I'll look at is in terms of trend in this month, we did not perform well. In this month, actually, we registered a negative trend, a positive trend, we performed badly, Those are icon sets. So you'll try out to this because of time, icon sets, when you have the trend here, and when you want to show the icon set in this, similar to what I did here. I have the exact values here, and I have the icon sets reflected here. You will also try, now we go to the color scales. So those are icon sets. Maybe before I move away from that, we have, how do I remove these icon sets in case I'm not interested in them? So what you do, you select the area, go to conditional formatting, clear rules, selected cells. They will remove your icon sets. But again, how do I take this data to my MS Word point? You select it, right click and copy. Usually when you go to paste in Word, paste it as a picture. Paste it as a picture. Paste it as a picture. And something is disturbing me here. Okay. Okay. So when you paste it as a picture in your Word document here, it will be there. It will, if you just paste, let me just share my screen again. If you just paste, for instance here, if you just come that I've selected in my Excel and I've pasted, do not give you the visual. So when you come to paste in Word, right click, come and select, paste using this icon here. So here you can interpret your work, and this looks actually very excellent. Okay. So let's go to another visual. So another visual is what we call the color scales, the 2-color scale and the 3-color scale. Now, the color scales, for instance, what we are seeing in column F, 2-color scale. So that is also another visual that you can use. So for instance, if I had my data here, strictly, and I want to show the month and the percentage change in terms of color scale. So I will come and select my data, same process. Now here in the conditional formatting, the second option are color scales. We have looked at icon sets. Explore them. Use these different icons to make your presentation colorful in the future. So we shall quickly go to color scales. Now color scales here, they will highlight values on 2 or 3 colors. I can still use this as a visual. So what am I saying? That whenever you see a color, this one, this is what it means. We are in red. But this is what I can do. The same way we did for the icon cells, I will still select this and I manage the rules. So I come to conditional formatting and then I manage my rules again. So I can edit. Now when I edit, I think these are percentages. Yes, I think these are percentages. And therefore I can say I'm going to use a 2-color scale. You can see at this point here. So this is a 2-color scale. Now in the 2-color scale, I'm saying we are going to use a percentage. We are basing on percentages. And we can say that if we perform below 0, that is a negative, then we need the color to be reflected as we're in a red zone. Then if we perform still at a percentage, at a value 100, or you can even put 120, whatever you want, maybe 120, if that is the growth you want, then we are in green. You get the point? So this is what happens, that at the start, it will be very red. So if we perform at this point, it will be red. It will be red. When we reach there, we are tending towards green. And when we reach at this point, we are tending at extreme good performance. So this is how the 2-color scale works. So when I click OK, for instance, this maximum is not a percentage. I'll use 100, which is okay. I will then click OK. Now, when I click OK, you'll see how this works. That if I get 0 or any value less than 0, it will shade it as risky, which is red. So I can even define this that red means very risky and green means impressive performance. And this is very clear. That is still very clear. And then these colors, it simply means the performance is increasing with increase in the intensity of the color. As you move from red to green, you're improving your performance. And if this, for instance, changes and it is 10%, it will change its color. If this changes and it is 58%, it will change its color to some kind of green. If it reaches 99%, it will now become more green, etc., etc. Again, I can copy this, I paste in my Word, especially I copy the month and the percentage, this column of F, I paste it in Word, I share that as an icon, as my 2-color scale, as a visual. You can use these. These are unique visuals that we rarely use. So this is an example of a 3-color scale. It is implemented in a similar way to a 2-color scale. So I will select this. I'll select this. Do I've selected? I come to conditional formatting, color scales. I can pick any for now, and then I go through the same process. Conditional formatting, I manage my rules. Now, when I come to manage my rules, I come to edit rule. And now here, I can use a 3-color scale. You remember the other one was a 2-color scale. Now, this one is a 3-color scale. Now, because even these ones are percentages, I can say, okay, the lowest value is still a percentage. The lowest value is a percentage. And I say anything 0 and below. Or I can say even 10%. If you go below 10%, that is really below. And even this one is a percentage. And if you are below 50 or 60%, we are the midpoint. Maybe I can put this at 60. And the maximum is still a percentage, and percentage end at 100. Now, this is how it will work. That if it is below, I can put red color here, that we are not doing well. Now, this red will keep disappearing up to this side. If we are in the middle, that is maybe yellow. I'll use the same concept of traffic lights. And if we above 60, close, moving towards 100, let the color change to a green light, meaning that we are performing better. Okay, so when I come and say 3 color scale and I click OK, and then I click OK, this is how it will work. These are 3 color scales. So where you see red, we are really terribly doing badly. And you see yellow, that is a fair performance. And where you see any value close to 100 or 100 plus, that is an impressive performance. But again, the process is the same. I will copy this and paste it in Word as a picture, or you can use a sniping tool or a painter. So those are icon sets and color scales. So here, we have an example too here, where you can use different icon sets. Different icon sets. So for instance, I can say this is, for instance, average performance rating of different individuals. We have Victor, James, Blessing, Kate, Ronald, and Dory. And we want to time them in terms of time management. My friend Kate is always poor at time management. That's why we gave her 0, 2. So we do the same here. So we come, we say, okay, you'll try this, colleagues. Icon sets, and I say, okay, in terms of performance, I'm going to reflect it using this indicator. This one is bad, this one is doing bad. Off. etc. You do the same, change the formats, manage your rules, edit, this is just a repetition, icon sets. If the value is, these are numbers, sorry. These are numbers. If yeah, the type is a number. So if the thing is 4 and above, that one is a good performance. Even this one is a number. And we say, if now it is less than 4, but maybe 2, yeah, that is okay. And then anything less than 2 is really terrible performance. And then I'll say, okay, and I click okay. So I will tell that only 2 people here, Wise and Victor, did well. Kate did poorly. And if Kate here, for instance, had a 1, this will strictly change to a red color, and I can now identify who is doing badly, assuming this is my dashboard of my star performance in terms of timeliness, quality, materials, facilitation, and overall score. I can do that. So you will try to draw an icon score for that. Then 2, still under conditional formatting, we have where you can do selections based on maybe top 20, the bottom 3, above average. All these are excellent visuals that you can do. So for instance, if I want to format out all those that are above 20%, I'll select this, come to conditional formatting. I can come to manage rules myself. I'll select this, conditional formatting. I want to manage rules, new rule, as simple as that. Manage rules, then new rule. Now, when I come to this, there are some conditions here on top here that we have not looked at. All these ones at the bottom, we have already looked at them. But now I can say, I want format cell rules based on values. Format only rules that contains a certain value. Format only top or bottom ranked values. Format only values that are above or below average. You see all these ones here. Format only duplicate and unique values. Then format, use a formula to determine which cell to format. Okay, so if I pick this, what is it saying? If it's a number, I want to say format rules that contain, I can use this, that contain a cell value greater than or equal to etc. Or only top. So there is top 20, you get the point? Then there is, I want to find out the top 10. Now, if I say the top 10, they will only highlight the top 10 out of this entire data set. If I say top 10 and percentage of selected, they will say the top 10%. I hope you can pick the difference there. There is top 10% or top 10. If I don't check this, they'll be giving me the top 10 out of these, or the top 2, the top 5, or 3, 4. See, they would format the top 10 in this data. So no format set. So you can go to format, and you can format the number, you can format the font. If you want to strike out through those guys, you strike them out. If you want the fill and you want to say the top 3, I want to put them in green color. So it depends on what you want to show. You can go to fill effects and put there whatever you want. You click OK, it will look something like this, and then you click OK, and then click OK. So the top 4, they will be identified in the data. Did I use the top 4? 1, 2, or percentage? So they will highlight them. Okay, so the bottom, if you want top 10%, you can practice out all these rules. And because of time, I'll interest you to go and look at, when you come to manage rules, look at new rule, look at all these conditions, what they do. We have those that are above average. We have those that, if you're only interested in unique values, etc, etc. So I would interest you in using these functions here in conditional formatting. Okay. Sorry, my screen got messed a bit. Okay. Ah, it's not this. Okay. Sorry, colleagues. Which screen can you see? I need to be sure. Okay. So please explore those different platforms. Then let's look at data bars, still under conditional formatting. Now the data bars, you got sheet 2. Maybe I'll leave this one and you'll do it. I have this option of data bars here, but let's do it anyway together. Now the data bars, I can do the same using conditional formatting. So we have looked at color scales, now data bars. Now the data bars, if I select, I can come to this. It can do a good visual so. So instead of just taking a table, I can put this graph and it is there. But again, same process. I can say that I want this data bar, but when I have edited the rule, so I edit the rule and I still use the same. So data bar, minimum value. So I can say this is the number, I specify a minimum value. Maybe the minimum is 5,000 or 10,000, 10,000, 5,000, maybe 10,000. Yeah, something like that. The color, I specify show bar only. So the same thing here, I can only show the bar. Maximum, I can still use a color. I say, let me say the minimum here is 5,000, depending on my data. And maybe the maximum is maybe 20,000. So this is the color. You want, you switch the color, the borders of the color. If you don't want, you can put them to red. So this is how your whatever will look like. And this is the bar direction. If you want it in context, if you want it on right, that will look a bit left, right. So it depends on you. So you just play around with these ones, and then you click OK, and then OK. So that is how your bars will look like. And then I can pick this again. I put in my Word document and I explain. The same you can use with percentages here. Percentages, still using data bars. The same process, manage rules, edit rule. Now you come and switch here and say, I want a percentage. So for them, they will compute it as a percentage of overall. So if the value is less than 50%, then maximum value, which is a percent, I'll put 100%. Then I say, okay, and then okay. So this is how it will look like. So when you get this, so they are saying you have only highlighted those where the share is above 50% of the total. So they will highlight out those ones, as simple as that. So try one with percentiles, assuming you know how to interpret a percentile, but feel free to even look around to read about it. Then if you only want bars only without the figures, you do the same. You saw the option of just putting the bar. For instance, if I'm here, and I put my conditional formatting again. I manage the rules. I come to edit rule. I can say only show bars. So then this is a number. I put the minimum maybe as 0, the maximum as a very high value here, which is also a number here. And maybe this is 20,000. So I put that color and I say, okay. So in here, I said only show bars. So if I have the monthly salary here and I have the bars, I will say this as my visual until I am done. And it will look excellent. I can share that in my report again. If I'm pasting this, I'll paste it as a picture and then I can interpret. So those are icon sets, those are data bars, those are color scales. We have an option of duplicate and unique values, empty values, something like this. I'll just do one for purposes of time so that we go through some of these graphics so that you like them as well. So for instance,
Ronald, please zoom in a little.
Okay. Is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So if I come to this and I'm looking at, I want to identify duplicates in my data, I can say, okay, in this one, I want to highlight out all the duplicates. So I will select the column, even if it's a whole one. Then when I come to manage rules, there is new rule. Now in here, there is format only unique values or duplicate values. You get the point? So for instance, here, I say I want duplicate values. Those are the ones I want to format. I can put a fill. I put a red color or whichever color it is. I say okay, and then I say okay. So they will apply only red where the repetitives are. If I remove Uganda here, if I put now DRC here, if I come and I say, now this is DRC. So that is what it means to use duplicates and unique values. Please explore these. The unique values, you can explore it. And I will also request you to read about using the same manage rules when you are dealing with texts. That one you can explore. I want to look at Sparklines. 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 Joshua, are people with us? Joshua, are people with us? Okay, I can't hear Joshua. Oh yeah, I can see people saying yes. Okay, excellent. I have 11 minutes. Thank you, colleagues. Let's continue. Now, Sparklines. What are Sparklines? Now, Sparklines, let's assume we are looking at people that are in projects, baseline, midline, and endline. In that case, you want to represent this data in Sparklines. As simple as that. Is the performance improving or it is doing badly? Now, this is what I will do. I'll come to insert, then under visual, under insert graphics here, under insert graphics, like most of these are normal graphs. So this presentation was only looking at those unique graphs that are not common. So the sparklines are here. We have the column sparklines, the line sparklines, and the win loss. I'll talk about a win loss. Now I can come to a line one. So when I click on a line sparkline, they will tell me where is the location range. Now, when they tell me location range, I'll come and select here as the location. So when I say okay, they will do a sparkline. So what does that mean? It means that here at baseline we were here, we improved at midline, and there was slight improvement here. Then here it was good improvement in Free State for people. This is that for South Africans. Gauteng, this is how it moved. So if this falls maybe to 300, that sparkline will also respond. If we register a negative here, for instance, let's assume this is now a negative value, that sparkline would fall. It will fall to negatives. Then I can come to these sparklines under design, and I say, can you mark out negative points? So when I see this as a negative point, I'll say here we registered a fall, a negative in terms of whatever indicator I'm looking at. I can say mark out the low points. So these are the low point. This is the low point for this point. This is the low point, I think, for most of these ones, except in Gauteng, where the midline value was actually lower than the baseline. So those are sparklines. Again, you can say, I want I'm only interested in where are the high points. You can see in Gauteng, the high point was at baseline, everything fell. So I can pick this and put it in one. I still paste it as a picture, and it will be an interesting visual to measure trends. Those are sparklines. Some people are asking for a repeat on sparklines. I'll do that. This is what we said. Let me undo. We are drawing sparklines. Now, sparklines, select the data, go to insert, depending on the version. Mine is version 16. I'm not sure if you have sparklines in 2007. But you need to use better versions here. We are in 2021. And now if you're using Excel or 2007, you are really far. So sparklines, I select the area. Then I click OK. The sparklines will be here. And then in design, you can see, do you want them in blue? Do you want black or sparkline? There are different colors here. So whichever you feel you are interested in using is what you pick. Me, I believe in green, so I'll pick green. But again, there are points here. You want to mark high points, you want to mark low points, you want to mark negative points, etc. You see now, if I mark negative points, I don't see anything. But if any value here changes to a negative value, it will mark for me that point. And again, these ones, you can expand them. You see, if they are not clear, you can expand it so that it is clear for everyone. As simple as that. And then when you copy, your graph looks very, very excellent. Now, again on sparklines, like I said, we have the column sparklines. You can try out column sparklines. Again, select the data, go to column sparklines. You specify here, and then you click OK. So that is how it will work. So you see that if something is higher, it will have a higher bar. If something is lower, it will have a lower bar. What happens if this, for instance, is a negative? Let's see what happens. What if this is a negative? It will come down at the bottom. As simple as that. And again, when I'm here, I can design and I mark out the negatives. So the negatives will be displayed. So when I look at this, I say, oh yeah, wherever there is a negative, it means we have a problem. It means we have a problem. I want to mark out the high points. I'll mark out the high points. I want to mark out the low points. I'll mark out the low points. And I can still change this as much as I can. Those are sparklines. Now, what are the win-loss graphics? Now, win-loss graph, it just like the word is, it is a win and it is a loss. So assuming we lost here. Assuming we lost. And assuming here, we also lost. A loss is a negative. So assuming we lost at those points, and I want to draw sparklines, which are win-losses. I'll come to win-loss. I'll select here, and I click OK. So wherever I see a red, that is a loss. Wherever I see a blue, that is a win. And that is excellent. I can use this. So wherever there is a green, we won. Wherever there is a loss, we lost. Like I was seeing the comments, I can say the presentation, we lost because some people were not seeing it. But with Excel, I think everyone is seeing. So we won. As simple as that. Okay. I want also to share with you something on tree maps. I have 4 minutes. Can you imagine? Okay. Tree maps. What is a tree map? Now, a tree map is, you see, I teach in Chambogo University, and I keep telling students, what is a tree map? A tree map is a tree map. But this is exactly what it means. A tree map is here in Excel, especially if you have a better version of Excel. The tree maps are here. So when you select this data, it will give you a bigger box for an area that has the biggest number, and a smaller box for an area that has a smaller number. As simple as that. So I'll select this area, I don't see a tree map here, but then when I come to recommended charts at this point, I then select on all charts. There are so many graphics here that you need to explore. You need to explore how a surface graph works, how a radar works. This is a tree map. You need to look at what is a sunburst. We need to look at what a histogram, a box and whisker, especially when you are looking for outliers. What is a waterfall graph? What is a combo? Let's look at a tree map. So this is a tree map. So when I get into this tree map, I select OK. Oh yeah, they will draw for me this. So if I want to represent the free states, the provinces in South Africa, according to their GDP, this is what I will do. This is what I will do. So when I look at this, the biggest one will have the biggest box. Okay, some people are not seeing the tree map. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. Okay. I think now you can see, hopefully. I'll enlarge this a bit. Okay, someone is asking how do we insert the values in the box. So the box or the region, the province with the biggest, the highest GDP will have a bigger box. Now what I will do, I'll come to this plus here on the right, and I say because I already know that these ones are labeled, I don't need to put put the label again, so I can remove the region. It is already clear here. I can change my title and I say GDP by province. GDP by province. GDP by province. etc. You put a better title. Now, when I come to this, I come to data labels. There is an arrow here. There are more data labels. Now, when I come to data labels, I can come to this one where they are giving me numbers and I can put a value. So I can tell that, oh yeah, Limpopo actually had the best, which is 937, followed by Western Cape with 918. People from South Africa, you must be enjoying your provinces now, because this is data for South Africa. So that is how a tree map works. And I can pick this, I put in my word report, and it will look very excellent and unique. It will look very excellent and unique. Now, what if this one actually comes to 100, something like this Western Cape, 100. It will be pushed away automatically. Like you can see here, it has been pushed away. If Limpopo, this one, now turns to only 200, it will also be kicked away. So those with the biggest value take the first set. If now Limpopo goes to 1,000, like that, it will take a bigger portion. So those are tree maps. I have one other excellent graph, but time is not on my side. Okay, but I'll demonstrate for a few that are willing to continue for just a few minutes here. We have what we call, I wanted to demonstrate a bar graph, but because of time, the special bar graph, I wanted to demonstrate what we call a people chart. A people chart. I want to demonstrate what we call a people chart. I don't see the data here, unfortunately, but I can demonstrate for you if you still have some time with you. If you don't have time, it's okay, you feel free to go. It's already time. So I'll demonstrate what we call a people chart here. I'll demonstrate a people chart. Okay. So assuming I have, let me put it here, that this is a people chart, people graph. These are real graphs in Excel, interesting Excel. So maybe I say male, I have female. So let's assume out of this, we have 200, maybe 189 male. And out of these, we have maybe 89 female. And we want to draw a people chart. So the people chart will be under these add-ins. Now, this is only in 2016 and above. If you have 2013, you will not find the people chart. Now, in this, the people chart is here, the people graph. If you want to represent with people, and it can be anything. I'll demonstrate quickly here. And if you don't have it in Excel 16, It is just an add-in. You say my add-ins, and then it will actually give you an option of adding a people graph. So when you click on people graph, it will bring something like this. This is a people graph. This is a people graph. Can you see my screen? Can I hear just a few people saying yes, yes? We can't see.
Yes, Ronald, you can see your screen.
Some people are saying no. Why?
You need to zoom in a little, maybe.
Joshua, what are you saying?
I can see your Excel screen that has
What
bar
is on the
chart,
screen?
column chart, that has bar chart, column chart, tryout. Yeah.
What are you seeing?
The people chart now.
Okay, that is excellent. Okay, I'll repeat it. So this is a people chart. And when I come to this and I want to represent it as a people graph, I'll select the data. I come to the people graph. It will run. So it will give me here, and it will give me 3 options here. So when I click on this, it will give me an option of select the data, which we already selected, and I say gender distribution. Gender distribution. This is a quick one. So that is done. Then I come to the settings. I can say maybe I want this one. This is how it will look like. Where is it? It's not responding. I'm not sure why. Select the data. This is the data. Yes. I create a people chart. You see, this is a people chart. So you click on this, it gives you an option of selecting your data. You select the data. You click create a people chart. And then still, after selecting your data, you can put the title. This is gender distribution. This is gender distribution. And if I'm done with that, I go to settings. Now in settings, I can switch. If I want this one, I will represent it with this. If I want this one, that is how I represent my graph. If I want this, I will represent it like that. I have the images, the theme. If this is better, if black is better, if this one is better, if this one is better, if this. So it is all up to you. The shapes, if you think this is not okay, I can use this one. If you think that is not okay, I can use this. And once I'm done, I can now pick my people graph. I go, I paste it in one, and I say majority of the participants were male, as shown in graph below. And that is what we call a people graph. I want to thank you so much for turning up for this first webinar. Please feel free to, we shall have another webinar, maybe within a month's time, which will be looking at maybe creating more dashboards, unique dashboards that you have never seen. But also we shall have a training that in October, which will look at further Excel functionalities. That training we shall send you. You can try to attend the training and enjoy. Please feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We look forward to seeing you in the training and seeing you in future webinars, future trainings. I have a poll. I think that I'll run and ask you to complete the poll. Can you see this?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, so colleagues, feel free to share with us feedback, whether the session met your expectations, whether the training content was organized, and whether the facilitator was knowledgeable, etc. So feel free to share with us your experiences, and all the best. Goodbye. Okay, I think everyone has completed the poll. And so far it looks good. So that is it, how you ranked us. It met your expectations, agree and agree, almost 94. Okay, only 7 people were neutral. 1 person was disappointed. Okay, the training content, this is roughly 897. 1 person was still not happy. The facilitator, this is 97%. 1 person was, 2 people were not happy. So thank you. I think majority were happy. We are glad that we impacted your lives. We are skills, we share skills, and we look forward to meeting you again. All the best. Bye-bye. Joshua, I'll stop the presentation and the recording for now, except if there's anything more. So, bye, colleagues.
So maybe just a reassurance that we are going to share the recording. I think the participants are really concerned with that.
It's okay. They will get it.